Welcome back, everybody, and in this episode, we are going to focus on implementing moving platforms, and specifically, we're going to make a very versatile moving platform, where we can set the individual image of the platforms, we can control its speed, and its path, so we can go up and down, we can go left and right, we can go in circles, we can go on diagonals, and we carry the momentum that the platform has. So whether we jump up, if we're going up, we can jump higher. If we're going sideways, we can jump further. And if we stand on the platform and jump, we'll carry that horizontal momentum with us, giving us the freedom to make the platforms do whatever we need them to do. So if you want to learn how to implement a versatile moving platform like this, stay tuned and watch the video. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks again for all of the positive feedback we've been getting on these videos. As I've stated last time, we're trying to hit 500 subscribers by the end of the year. So if you're not subscribed and you've enjoyed these videos, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Feel free to like and drop a comment, as that helps push these videos to more people who want to learn how to make games as well. The majority of today's video is going to be spent. That is an old tile set that we can get rid of. The majority of today's video is going to be spent creating a new scene that will handle all of our moving platform logic, and the majority of today's video will be creating a new scene to handle all of our moving platform functionality. But first things first, we need to implement some resources. I'm actually going to change the name of that folder to assets, and then we're going to open this assets folder up, and I'm going to paste in a new tiles 16 by 16, and all it does is it's just going to add a gray platform, a blue platform, and a brown one. The thin brown one will be used in a future video for one-way platforms. And then in our world folder, I'm going to add a new folder called platforms, because we're going to have various platform types. And within this, we're going to start by creating another new folder called moving platform. And then in here, let's create a new scene, and we're going to call it moving platform. And this is going to be a scene of type path 2D. So we're going to go here to our node types, we're going to type in path 2D, and we're going to create our scene. Alrighty, here we go. I'm going to turn on snap just because I always turn on snap. I'm going to zoom in. And so a path 2D takes a curve, and with that curve we can set points either in a line or in whatever shape we want, in all honesty, and then it'll calculate how to move along that path. In order to do that, though, we need to add some child nodes. So if we go back to path 2D, we need to add a path follow, which will follow that path. So the path follow node follows the path node. The path node defines the path, and then the path follow is what follows it. And then we're also going to add in a remote transform, which, if you can see right here, it says it basically pushes its own transformation onto something else. So the remote transform is a child of the path follow, which will follow that path. So that's we're kind of looping. So the remote transform takes the position of the path 2D, which follows the path, and then the remote transform pushes that transform onto another object. And so that object we're going to use, and this is kind of the main object for the moving platforms, is the animatable body 2D. And then under this, we're going to add a sprite so we can have an image. And then we're going to add a collision shape, because we obviously need a collision shape so that we can jump on that. And we're just going to set this to a new rectangle shape 2D. Alrighty. So we got our moving platform, we got our path follow 2D, we have our remote transform, and this we need to assign the object that we're going to force that transform on, and we're going to put it on the animatable body 2D. Perfect. Then we have the animatable body 2D, the sprite 2D, and a collision shape 2D. So those are all the nodes we need to make this path 2D work. And the functionality from this path 2D is going to, or from this moving platform, is going to come from a script. So moving platform. Perfect. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to define this as a class. So class name moving platform extends path 2D. Perfect. That's what we want. So defining this as a class just allows us to use this as if it was like another node, and will be useful for something in that we're going to kind of add to the future. We're going to add kind of some groundwork for a future video in this video, and it's also going to be helpful. Sounds kind of weird, but we'll get there in a second. We'll explain why we're doing what we're doing. Next, we're going to want access to all of our nodes. So I've just copied and pasted these over from my example project, but we're going to grab each one of these nodes: the path follow 2D, the remote transform, the animatable body, the sprite 2D, the collision shape 2D, and I have an animation player in here, but we're actually not going to use that. That is some extra code that is not needed. And now we're going to use exports. So we talked about exports in the last video and how we use that to in the world. We use exports to give the player access to the tile map to detect ledges for ledge grabbing. We're going to add some exports here. And exports are just variables that show up down here in the inspector for that class type that we can then, put certain values into. And we want exports because this will allow us to give a lot of customization to our moving platform while only having one moving platform type. So we're going to start with and export underscore category. And an export category just gives us a heading. So like path 2D, that's an export category, and then variables under that then are like these settings right here. That's the word I was looking for. So we're going to export variable, and we're going to call this one platform texture. And with exports, you do have to specify the type. So that's texture 2D. And then we're going to export variable scale width. And we're going to make this a float. And we're going to set it to a default of 1.0. And we're going to export another variable, and this will be scale height. Also a float, and default it to 1. And then we're going to add another export category. We're going to call this one platform movement. And this is going to have one export variable under it, and that's just going to be speed, default to 25. And then underneath this, we're just going to put path progress is another variable that we will use, and we'll set that to 0 as a default. Okay, so what do these values mean? So we're exporting the texture because we didn't set a texture here. This is empty. We're exporting the texture because we want you to be able to use a different texture depending on which level you're on. You might have a blue platform on this level and a gray one on this level. Instead of having two different scenes for that, which you can totally do, we can just give you the freedom of just uploading the texture you want for that platform. So that way you can just use one scene, the moving platform scene, and have a variety of platform movements and types and textures that come from it. And then scale width and scale height is just if you want to change the size. So like in the example project in the beginning, we had some thin ones and we had some thick ones. The speed is the movement speed of the platform. And then path progress is how far along the path we have moved. So from beginning to end. Alrighty, so now what we're going to do is let's add in a function real quick. Called function resize collider to sprite. So what this function will do is, because we're uploading a texture after like we've already added the collision shape, whatever the texture ends up being, we need to ensure that the collider resizes to fit that texture. So that's what this function will do. So first we're going to do is ensure the sprite has a valid texture. So we're going to say if sprite.texture. So if we do have a texture, then we're going to say sprite size is equal to sprite.get rect, so that gives us like the bounds of it, dot size times sprite.scale. So we do need to multiply it by the scale, because if we've scaled up our image, we need to make sure that that is fitting exactly how we need it to. Next, that we have that, we're going to check that the collider has a shape. So say if collider, let's get that out of the way, dot shape is rectangle 2D, so rectangle shape 2D. So first we're seeing if it's a rectangle. Then what we're going to do is we're going to adjust the size. And we're going to say collider dot shape dot extents equals sprite size divided by 2, because the extents is going to be double of what we actually need it to be. Next we're going to say an elif, so elif collider dot shape is, and we're actually going to add in some functionality for a circle shape 2D in case you want to have a circular moving platform. We'll just add it in because it's really simple to do. I didn't put a circle in the example project, so if it ends up being buggy, then just let me know down in the comments and I can add that in and we can take a look at it. So now we are setting the radius of that circle to fit no more than the bounds. So the max of sprite x, sprite y divided by 2. And then we're going to say else, and this means it's not a rectangle or a circle, and so we're just going to we're just going to print a little error message to let us know saying unsupported collider shape. So if we get that message, we know that the shape is not one that our code can handle resizing for. And then we're going to come back out here and say else, and we're just going to print another warning saying sprite texture is missing. And that's because this else is for these shapes, this else is for if the sprite has a texture. And there we have it. This function will resize our collider to match the size of our texture. So now up here in our ready function, we're going to do some work, and we're going to say sprite.texture, if we can spell it rightly, sprite.texture equals platform texture. So platform texture is the export variable, so we're setting the sprite texture to the one that we choose. And then we're going to say sprite.scale equals vector2, and we're going to input scale width and then scale height. Perfect. And then we're going to set path.progress equals 0, and then we're going to set path progress equal to 0. So path.progress, this is the actual progress of our path follow along the path. We're just going to set it to 0, so we're always at the 0 point. And then path progress right here, we are going to kind of use as our manual variable to actually control the progress, and then we'll set this equal to that as we move it. And then last, we're going to call resize sprite to collider, or collider to sprite. And then we're going to change that to physics process. And in our physics process, we're going to say path progress plus equals the speed of the platform times delta, and remember that gives us the delta gives us an equal amount of movement despite any computer's performance. And then we're going to say path.set progress to path progress. So now we're setting the actual progress of the path follow to be this progress. And so with that, we should have a moving platform. So if we come over here to our little world, let's do some editing with our tiles. So I'm going to erase this one right here. Let's go to our moving platform. Let's drag the scene in. Set it right there. And now we can see we don't have a texture and it's empty. So like if we run the game right now, we're not going to see anything over here. Nothing's happening over here. We can't see anything. If we turn collision shapes on, then we should see the moving platform, but it's still not going to do anything, but we can jump on it, so like we can jump on the platform, but it's not doing anything. And so we need to ask ourselves, why is that? Well, there's no curve selected for that. So if we go here and we select new curve 2D and we come up here, we can now set points. So if I go here, there's a point. Let's make it go like up here, and then let's go over here, and then back, and then down. And so now if we do that, we can see how this is now rotated for some weird reason. So something funky is going on here. And that's not what we want to happen. So I'm actually going to delete this moving platform. We're going to delete that node. I'm going to add a child node and just call it node 2D. Call it moving platforms. And that's not going to fix the issue, but I'm just creating a folder now. But we need to adjust a few settings back here in our moving platform. So if we click up here on moving platform, so we can see now that we have our texture, width, height, and our speed. There's a few things though that we need to go into. If we go into our path follow, we want to unclick rotates because we just don't want that to rotate anything as we go along the path. If you want to change that feature, you can export that variable so that we can see it. Because out here, I can't go into the path follow 2D if I go into a moving platform. So let's move a moving platform in right here. I put it up there. Nope, we don't want a point. There, we'll just move the platform right there, and I'll just move it under there like that. Perfect. Because I can't access any of those, variables because they're hidden under the moving platform thing. But we can just add an export variable to kind of expose this and then set that later. And then our remote transfer, we're also going to go into transform or update. There it is, and we're going to take off rotation because we just don't want anything to rotate. We want the platforms to stay how they are. Okay, so now if we save this and go back to our world, and let's turn on grid snapping. Nope, I don't want to create new points. Okay, so that rotated that again, so let's just delete that node. Interesting. It should not be having a default. Okay, that's what's happening here. So we've got, see how we have a default path? That's why that's showing up. So if we go back to our path, we're going to clear that, and we want to leave that as empty, and then we want to drag this back up here. And what's down there? Everything else is down there. Absolutely lovely. So the remote transform. Okay, so literally everything is down there, and we don't want any of that to be down there. We want all of that to be up here at the center, please. Perfect. There we go. So let's save this. And now if we come back, let's try this again and see if it works how we want it to. So let's drag in the moving platform. I'm going to move it under the moving platforms. And then here we have a curve. So we're going to hit new curve 2D. And now these are resources. So see how we have the resource tab? We need to come in here and click local to scene, which means that this scene, this specific moving platform, will have its own path resource. So if we make a new moving platform, it won't have the same path as this one, and we can define a new path. So let's have this one go here, and let's have it go up to there, and then come back down right there. Perfect. We save this, we've got the collision shape on, so we should be able to see it if we run it. Perfect. Absolutely nothing happens. Wonderful. That may be because we used physics process instead of just process, so let's see how that works. There we go, that's what it was. It's like I wasn't sure if it was the physics process or the process. So now we have a moving platform that moves up and down. But we want to apply a texture to this. And so what we do is we can come here and we're going to say new atlas texture. Actually, let's undo that and let's just drag this tiles one on it right there. Perfect. Click on that. And nope. We do want the atlas texture. Okay, and then we drag the tiles onto the atlas. Perfect. And then we need to come down to edit region. And then snap mode, we want pixel snap. And we're going to select one of these platforms. So with pixel snap or grid snap, there we go. We want to select one of these platforms. I'm going to select the blue one. You can select the gray one if you want. And this is not snapping 100% how we need it to, so we'll set it to 1 by 1, snap it down 1, hit close there, and perfect. But now we have a slight issue. So if we run the game, we should now have that texture, and we can see that the moving platform, the collider, has resized to fit the size of the texture. And that's that function that we added in. And that's perfect. But we can't see that change here in the editor. We just see this random, square, which, as cool as that is very unhelpful if we need to, make precise platforms that, adjoin perfectly up to this edge. And this shape is not realistic to this shape. So the question is there a way that we can update this in the editor based on these properties we have here? And the answer to that is yes. Godot does allow us to do that, and it's it's achieved by adding a special code or keyword to the top of this called tool. A tool script is one that runs in the editor. So if we now go to world on 2D, now we see that the platform right here has resized, the collider has resized, and we see it moving in the actual editor, which is pretty cool. Now, if you don't want the platform to move in the editor, we can add code to do that, and it's actually really simple. All we have to do is right here, we just add an if statement. We say if not engine.is editor hint. So if is editor hint just says, like, are we in the editor? So if we're not in the editor, then run the movement code. So if we save that and come back to the world, our platform now stops. But when we run the game, the platform moves, and we can see it moving, we can run on it, and we can have a great time with it. Now, that's all we need to make a moving platform. That's literally as simple as it is. You just have to do that. So if we want to add in some more moving platforms, we totally can. It's like, let's go to tiles, let's undo that. Let's erase these 4, and let's add in a moving platform that goes from here, like, over to here, just between these ones right here. So let's grab a moving platform scene, and we can drag it in. Perfect. I'm going to change my grid snap up here because I want more precision than it's giving me. Perfect. So, like, we want it to match right up there, and we're off a little bit because moving platforms are silly and sometimes they don't do that perfectly. So you can just switch it to half snap and that'll let you do that. So like if we come to configure snap and we do it in 0.5 pixels, oh, it's not letting us. Okay, no biggie. We'll just deal with it. So now we have this new platform, which has that collision shape. So notice how that shape has changed on that shape. That lets us know that we did something wrong. So if we go in here to our collision shape, remember this is a resource local to scene because this one changed too. So now it's just going to default to that size, which is the size of the platform, the texture, which isn't a bad thing. But now if we change this one, then it'll fix that. So this second moving platform, let's move it in here. So moving platform 2. Let's change the texture. So an Atlas texture. Let's click on that resource, drag in the tiles, go to the region, and this time I'm going to use the gray platform because why not? Actually, no, let's keep it with the blue one because I think we're going to use the gray ones for the next video for a different type of platform. So to avoid confusion, we'll do that. So we hit close. Perfect. And this has no curve, and it also hasn't updated. Okay, there we go. Now it's updated. So there's the platform. But let's make this one a little different, okay? So let's come down to so platform texture, scale width and scale height. Let's make this one twice as tall. Save, kind of refresh and come back. So now if we run it, see how that one's twice as tall? Perfect. Let's move it down and just kind of put it like right there. Let's see how that looks. Okay, so yeah, so that's a little taller than that, but it looks just like that. Perfect. Let's actually, I'm going to switch it to 3. And that should update there, but we're not seeing it update. So let's go back to our moving platform code and see why this isn't working. So sprite.texture. Sprite.scale. So we set the texture, we set the scale. We get the size, we get the scale, we get the texture. That should work. So maybe it's just updating slowly. Oh, there it is. Yeah, see now it updates. There we go. So like we can move that down so it's just right there. Perfect. But now we need to set the path for this. So let's click on New Curve 2D. And this blue one right here is for adding points. So let's go here and let's say it's 1, 2, 3 to the edge. So we want to go right here along this line. Let's zoom over. Okay, perfect. So we need to go 3 over and then up to this height, which is the third one above here. So 1, 2, 3. If we click that, perfect. And we click back here. There we go. So there's our path. So now if we run it, that should move. Nice. And let's make this first one a little bit faster. Let's give it a speed of 50 so we can have some different speeds going on. Alrighty, so now this one's moving much faster. And we can see, you know, we jump higher when we go up, and we jump lower when we go down. But there are some issues. And that's one of them. So we can technically view this as grabbing a ledge, but then we don't have any code that deals with the player moving on grabbing a ledge. And so it's super buggy. Same thing, also this is a bug that I just noticed right here. For some reason, when these are both colliding, you like can't jump up all the way. Don't worry, we don't have time to fix that in this video, but in next video we will 100% fix that bug. So if you've noticed it, the fix is coming. If you haven't noticed it, I just pointed it out for you. So that's grabbing a ledge right there, but what if we try to like climb this? See, same thing. We just stay floating in the air in our climb state, but we don't move with the platform. So will we be able to move with the platform? Eventually, yes. The mechanics for that are much more difficult to implement and are too long for this video. So in a future video, not the next one, but I think the one after that, I'm planning on, showing how we add all of those mechanics to a moving platform because it's more involved. But we're not quite done with this moving platform. Yes, it's moving. And yes, we can carry some vertical momentum. But currently, if I jump, I don't carry the horizontal momentum of the platform, and I can just move on the platform. We don't want that. If I'm on the platform and I jump, we want to move with the platform still. Additionally, we need to add some checks to remove ledge grabbing so we avoid that bug, and climbing so that we avoid this bug where we don't follow the platform. And so that's what we're going to do this second half of the video. We're going to edit our code, and we're going to make it so that we carry horizontal momentum with the platform. And then we're going to disable being able to ledge grab and climb on moving platforms, but we'll keep wall kicking off them because wall kicking on platforms is a pretty sick mechanic, and we'll leave that in. But at the same time, by coding in a way to disable grabbing and ledge grabbing these moving platforms, it actually sets us up for the future video where we re-implement those features on moving platforms. So now that we've kind of been over that, let's go ahead and figure out how to implement that. Alrighty, so to implement all of these checks to kind of prevent us from, glitching on these moving platforms, we're going to be predominantly in our player script. So go ahead and open your player script up. And we're going to come up to our variable definitions because we've got some variables to add in. Okay, so down here, we'll put it right under these right here. And so we're going to add in a moving platform speed variable, and we're going to set it to vector 2.0. And then we're going to have our moving platform speed bonus, which we will also set to vector 2.0. And then we're not necessarily going to use this one right here, bonus, moving speed bonus, but we're going to put it in here because in the future we may want to use that. And then same thing, we're going to add one more variable that we're not going to use in this video, but we're kind of setting the stage for adding in that implementation of being able to grab those moving platforms. And so this right here, so this is a moving platform. So just like we can just set types, like here, a vector 2, we're setting a type of moving platform, and we can do that because we defined this with a class name moving platform. So that lets us reach, or that lets us see the moving platform seen as a class, just like this. Alrighty, so next thing we're going to do is in our physics process, after our move and slide, we're actually going to move all of this code up, update our squish there, and then move and slide. And now we're going to say moving platform speed is equal to get platform velocity. So now this is a built-in function from Godot that you have to call after move and slide. And basically it returns the speed of a platform that your player's on. Godot can tell if your player's like sitting on a platform. And so it can calculate that speed for us, and we're going to use this variable, and it returns a vector. So that's why we have this as a vector up here when we defined it. So moving platform speed, vector 2. Alrighty, so now down here in our horizontal movement, we're gonna add in a temporary variable called target speed, and we're gonna set it to move direction x times move speed plus moving platform speed bonus dot x plus move speed bonus. And so that move speed bonus we're not necessarily using right now, but we may use it in the future. And so we are going to just keep that in there. And then this needs to be in parentheses. Perfect. Okay. So this moving platform speed bonus exclusively handles adding the moving platform's horizontal speed to our player, because the vertical speed gets kind of added automatically. But this will help add that to that. So now we're going to scroll down and we need to go to all of our different states that are detecting whether or not we can grab something. So not this one. All direction. Handle dash, handle, ledge grab. Where's our wall slide? Here we go. Handle wall slide. Okay. So we're going to start here. And what we have to do is, before we change states, we're basically going to say if, and then I'm just going to write true right here for now. It might yell at me for doing this, but that's okay. And then pass else, and then we can change state. And so we're going to put code in here. We're actually going to change this to let us know. So this is when we're going to say trying to slide on a moving platform. So this is when the player is trying to like wall slide down the moving platform, and we're going to put some code up above here. But first we need to add in a little function that's going to help us. So let's come all the way down to the bottom. Yeah, we'll go right under this raycasts one. And we're going to say function is raycast colliding moving platform, and we're going to ask for raycast 2D, and we're going to return a bool. And so we're going to say if the ray dot is colliding, then we're going to say so if ray dot is colliding, we're going to say variable parent equals ray dot get collider dot get parent. Nope, that's not what we want. Parent. So whatever we're colliding with, we're getting the collider and then finding the parent of that scene. So like if we do collide with a moving platform, we're getting that collision shape 2D, and then we're getting the parent, which will be of type colliding platform. And then we say if parent is moving platform, then we're going to return true. Else, we're going to return false, false, and then else we're going to return false, because if the ray isn't even colliding, then we're just going to return false because it's not gonna, it's not colliding, so we don't need to know that. So all we care about is whether or not this is a moving platform. That's all we care about. Okay, so now in this function, I'm going to copy it and paste the checks that we have. So this statement is now going to become this. So what we're doing is we're going through RC upper left, RC upper right. Okay, so those names are different. There should be wall climb left and right, I think, because I have them different in my project. Wall climb left. Then raycast. Wall climb. That should be wall kick left, I believe. And then this is going to be wall climb right. And this is wall kick right. Okay, that should be the 4 raycasts that we want to check. Is raycast colliding moving platform? Yes, we coded that in down here. But I capitalized that O, so it's going to freak out. Okay. Okay, it still doesn't like what we're putting there, so let's come back down here, copy that, paste, save. There you go, now it's gone. Perfect. Alrighty, so we're basically just checking if any of these 4 are colliding with a moving platform. If any of those return true, we don't want to interact with that platform, so we're just going to print colliding with a moving platform, and then let's just return out of this function. Otherwise, it's not a moving platform to go to the wall climb state or the wall slide state. Perfect. So now let's go to the ledge grab, and we have to do the same thing in here. So this we're going to put just if true for now, and then print else do that stuff. Okay, and so this one at the end we're going to get trying to grab left moving platform ledge. And then we'll want to return out of this. And remember, return just means like exit the function, like just stop. We don't need to do anything else, just stop there. And so we're going to test this one by doing if raycast ledge left lower dot get collider dot get parent is moving platform, and that needs to go right there. Perfect. Nice. Okay, so that's what we want there, and then we'll just copy that, paste that down here, and then switch all this to right. So that's right moving platform, and this will be right lower. Okay, nice. That's that done. And then, so that's ledge grabbing, sliding, and now we need to handle climbing. And so we're actually going to handle this one down in the get can wall climb. Get input states, handle ledge grab, get can wall climb. Okay, right here, perfect. Okay, and then same thing. I'm just going to kind of say if, you know, expression print else. Set that. Okay, and right here we're going to say trying to climb a moving platform. And then we'll want to return out of here like we, or no, sorry. Well, we do want to return out of here, but then what we're going to do is we're going to say wall climb direction equals vector2 dot 0, because remember we determined whether or not we can grab a wall based on whether or not the wall direction holds a variable or if it's 0. So that's why we're going to do it that way. And then to check this, we just say if raycast. Let's scroll down to wall kick left dot get collider dot get parent is moving platform. And we're actually gonna double encapsulate this. Okay, and then we're gonna go down to a new line and say or, and we're gonna add one more in here. We're gonna say raycast climb left dot get collider dot get parent is moving platform. Okay, perfect. All right, now we're going to do the same thing in here, but we're going to set this to right, then switch all of these to right. So right, right, and then I'm just going to go to my player real quick, make sure that I have all of these named properly. So let's go to array cast. So wall kick left is, yes, the bottom one, that's what I was guessing, and then wall climb are these upper ones, where there's the limit, and there's wall climb top left. Okay, I think we did get all those named right. If not, just make sure that you use wall kick for the lower one and wall climb and not the limits or the ledge grabbing ones for grabbing and climbing. Okay, with that, we should be good to go to prevent the player from wall sliding. So like if I try to grab, if I try to like wall slide on this, see, so trying to climb a moving platform, trying to slide on a moving platform. We can see all that down there. So like if I hold the climb key, or if I try to, so it's jump, climb key, nothing, jump, climb key, nothing, jump, climb key, nothing. But I mean, I can climb on this right here. I can grab that ledge. I can, climb right here, climb up, jump off it. But I can't grab onto that. I can't grab the ledge from this platform. But I can still wall kick off of it. So if I come up here, let's let that move away to the side, and then if I can jump right, see, I can still wall kick off this platform. So there we go. We've kind of prevented those bugs from happening now, but we've got moving platforms. The last thing I just want to show you guys real quick is just how to add like a circular moving platform that I had in the beginning. It's very easy. Just go ahead, bring in a new moving platform. Do the same thing with the atlas texture. Drag in here, edit your region. Add this to the blue one. Yep, close, perfect. We'll keep this at the same size. And then we'll add a new curve 2D. First off, let's snap this. Nope, that is not what we wanted. Just to make life easier, let's move this platform. Okay, I'm going to clear this because it's wanting us to work on other things and I don't want to deal with that. So there we go. Let's move this to this corner right here. Now let's go down to the curve, new curve 2D. And let's add some points. So a point here, let's go over to, up to, over to, up to, down to, over to, and then back to the beginning. Okay, solid. And then what we do is we go to this right here. And what we do is we just click on these points and we can drag them to circularize them. And so I usually just kind of go like that, and then I'll click on this one and I just drag it until like, the line kind of makes it all the way out there. Although this one's not turning out very circular, is it? So this top one's doing something weird. We're actually going to bring that in. Okay, perfect. So there's that. It's not the smoothest. It's a little free for me. I'm just going to bring it down here so that we don't collide into that. So now if we run this, yep, there we go. We've got that platform that's moving in a circle. We let it do its thing. So now one more thing that I just remember that we need to talk about is there's one case that's going to be glitchy, and I'm going to show that to you right now. And this is something else that, for sake of time, I'm going to show in a different video how to fix it, but it also brings up a good design principle. If I stand under this, we get smashed and we glitch through the floor. And then the game's broken, there's nothing we can do. So in a game like Celeste, in a case like that, you know, like the platform stops, the player dies, and it resets. And we'll talk about how to code something like that in a future video, potentially when we go over the moving platforms. But it's really easy to fix design-wise. Just don't ever put a platform in a situation where that can happen. You know, so like theoretically, you know, the player could get smashed between these two. So like, if I come up over here and I do like a ledge grab right there, if I can get it. Yeah, so if I stay right here and this platform comes over, see, it'll smash me and it'll just nudge me back out. So it's not super glitchy there, but in a case like that, you know, the player should die. So we'll talk about how to go that in a future video. Alrighty, the last thing we need to do is ensure that this momentum from the moving platform that we get from our update, so our physics process right here, we need to ensure that this momentum is carried by the player when they're on the moving platforms. So currently, we've got all the movements we want, and it works, you know, going up and down. But if this platform that goes left and right, if I jump, and see how I move positions on there, I don't carry that momentum with me when I jump. So we need to implement that. So if we go into our jump state, it's actually quite simple to do this. We're literally just gonna, in the enter state, we're just gonna say player dot moving platform speed bonus plus equals player dot moving, oops, that's lowercase m, moving platform speed. And so whatever, you know, speed the player gets, and this includes y speed, because remember this is a vector too, so x and y. We'll get that y speed and we'll get that horizontal, we'll get the y speed and the x speed added on top of our player's current speed. So this does not override the jump velocity, it actually adds to it, which is fantastic. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go to the fall state. And let's open that up real quick because we do not have that open. So if we go to our fall state, when we exit the fall state, meaning we've landed, we're just going to set the moving platform speed bonus, so moving platform speed bonus, back to be a vector 2.0. And now let's go try this. Oh, okay, we get some errors. Moving plat. Yes. Okay, so this is fall state, so we spelled that wrong. Moving platform. Now it should work. Okay, so we got our platforms moving up there. So now if we go here, if we jump, notice how we follow the platform. And then if I run and jump, I get that extra speed bonus. So it's not very visible there, because that's a slow platform. But like on this vertical one, moving up, see how high we jump? So like if I jump at the peak, so let's go up, boom. I see I can hit that easy, but if I jump now, you know, it's not nearly as high on the way down. And there we have it. Player carries the momentum through their movements based on the speeds of the moving platforms that they are on. So I'm glad you guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to implement a super versatile, very powerful moving platform with a lot of customization into your platformer games in Godot. If you've liked this video, then please leave a like, leave a comment, and subscribe if you're not subscribed, and I'll see you in the next one.